you never have to think about it.
Right.
It's harder than it looks. It's harder than it looks just starting out. It is. The person won't cooperate.
Everything is worth doing poorly or difficultly until you do it good.
Thank you.
And you will. So some more perspective. I went 5 entire days when I first started without writing a policy. And I thought, now it was only me at that point, but I thought I had a disorder, right? Or I just wasn't good when we knew that wasn't the case.
I was just saying, you make more each other.
I wasn't ready.
You didn't prepare her.
But then I said, okay, I get it. And it goes. Some folks get a couple the first day, some don't get any the first 5 days. It's also why, Mo's going to pay attention to help you move through things and answer questions. But I literally don't pay any attention at all. Well, pretty much forever. No, I'm just joking. But as far as evaluating, diving into calls and starting to dissect, 2-3 days of taking calls, getting all the marbles out, moving through the things that seem difficult because they get easier every time you do it. Every time you do it. I promise you that when you were a little tiny baby and you first tried to walk and fell down, it was hard. But you didn't stop trying to walk. And eventually, hopefully, you got pretty good at it. Just like anything else. There was once upon a time, I didn't know how to do the trapeze. Now, you can just walk into that. What's up, guys? Yeah. I've been talking about gray, and I've been wearing gray, and then the sky's been gray. So I figured I'd try to mix it up, but guess what, Bill? It's fucking gray. By the end of the day, though, the sun's going to be shining.
At least in here it is.
So how was the vibe yesterday? It was a weird one, right?
Mm-hmm.
A little bit even Monday too. And for you guys that don't have a whole lot of perspective, let me give you some weird ones. It was a couple, and it happens. It had just some like weird days where one who doesn't understand, they control the way they think, and that's the definition of attitude, could potentially say, "Why is this happening to me?" Instead of "Why is this happening for me?" Because we can't predict when there's going to be a technological glitch that messes us up, right? Sure. We can't predict when we're going to get a string of calls or a thing that happens or whatever, but we can always know that we're in control of the way we think about whatever happens, and everything happens for us and nothing happens to us. Not easy to do, easy to say, not easy to do. But as you move through and practice it, you start to find the reasons things happen for you in the moments that otherwise may have sent you down a path in the past that you didn't want to go down, thought-wise. And I find myself oftentimes being challenged because it's not a destination you get to, this thing I just said, guys. It's a thing that is constantly coming up and teaching you things about yourself. It's very difficult to find the reason why my call got kicked in underwriting and I was unable to call them back because the line wasn't connecting. And why is this happening for me? I don't know. It's all individual stuff. It sucks. But those days kind of seem like every once in a while we get a day where it's a little bit more. So on those days I'm challenged to move through stuff. I know for certain Maureen and Jason get their leadership skills tested. But there's almost always a lesson. And there is always a lesson. It's just, are you aware of it or not? Or do you become aware of it or not? And it's oftentimes not in the moment. It's afterwards. It's in a song that comes on the radio on the way home. It's in a moment that you're sitting and so I'll tell you what mine was for yesterday. Mine was about not letting things bother me so much and trusting the process, not just the process on the paper, but the process in everything that we do, the process in the reasons why I think that the people in this room are special. I get this little kind of like a dad syndrome where I want to make everything as good as it can be, and I fight very hard for some things that we don't have that get me kind of mad when we don't have them, and then we have a day. And I'm thinking, it's my fault. How could I not? How could I? Why do I have? And I was, oh, chill, dude. And I couldn't find the reason why. But later on, when I got home, and by the way, when I'm not here, I'm always watching very, very closely. And I had to go get the kids a little bit earlier than even usual on my kid week yesterday. And I noticed Maureen and Jason being a little more active in the Slack. I noticed Kenny and Nelson coming through with a deal, getting fired up about Mike and Ansel coming through with a deal. I noticed Claire and Brian continuing to push through the end of the day. And the thing that I learned was, oh yeah, there's a reason why these people are special. You don't have to do anything for them. And it made me think about if you guys don't know, originally I was a high school teacher, a middle school teacher, and a basketball coach. And I used to love to see, I used to try to set up situations for my basketball team where there was nothing I could do to help them, and it would reveal their character. For when the moments got tough, in the fourth quarter of a game, when things aren't going your way, and the refs seem like they're against you, and the ball's bouncing the wrong way, and every shot the other team's taking seems to be going in, and nothing we're taking seems to be going in, and everything starts to speed up. If you've ever been a server at a restaurant, it's like being in the weeds. All of a sudden, and in those moments, I tried to figure out a way to simulate them, because in those moments, I got to see what people were made of. Right? I used to, in the terms of a game in basketball, pride myself on being a leader in those moments for the other people who might be, hey, we need you. You know where to be. You know what to do. You know where to go. Let's get it together. Move. You're here. You're there. Talking. Whatever it might be. And in those moments, leaders get revealed. So it was my lesson yesterday was to be appreciative and grateful for what you guys are capable of doing in any given moment. Because it would have been very, very easy yesterday to pack it in. Some people may have. But the definition of perseverance, Nelson, is what? Not on the board anymore. What kind of pursuit of a goal?
A mix too.
I know. It's the what pursuit of a goal? Constant pursuit of a goal despite how many obstacles? Many obstacles. Definition of perseverance, constant pursuit of a goal despite many obstacles. Not the sometimes, if there's only a couple things. The always, despite any. Constant pursuit of a goal despite many obstacles. And there was perseverance yesterday. So I'm grateful for that because it's going to make everybody better. New folks better, you guys better, the team better as we keep moving forward. And when we have that mindset of fighting for every inch, then the day comes where everything kind of lines up and it gets knocked out of the park. When we don't, the day comes where everything lines up and we're not prepared to take advantage. We let some things slip. That big AEP day comes, that 3 or 4 policy day comes, and we don't maximize it. But I'm not worried about that because all you guys are going to maximize it. I see Mike getting more comfortable, starting to be a little more comfortable with everybody in the room and in the biz. Crystal, how you doing?
Good morning.
That's a big thing. We got to be ourselves. That's got to come out. Ansel, I see you persevering in more than just one way. And heads up, Crystal. We're throwing stuff at you. Whether you know it or not, you probably do. Kenny Rios has been a leader, has been leading from the front on the phones in a lot of different ways, even at a higher level than he usually does, and I'm grateful for that, Kenny. I'm grateful for it, but I expect it because that's who he is. So, thank you. So, if I had any question about what we're made of when times aren't easy, I don't right now. I'm happy to have you guys with me in the fourth quarter when stuff's not going our way, right? Because we're not going to give up. We're not going to stop. We're going to figure it out. And that's a cool thing because that applies every moment of your life in just about every way possible. And in much more, potentially more rewarding ways than getting a policy. Okay? Make sense? Yes? Yes? Brian Townsend on the line?
Yes, he said good morning, Minister.
Brian Townsend, 1 year anniversary. I think it's today or tomorrow. I don't know exactly, but I know it's within the range of days. Brian Townsend, 1 year, and thank you. I know I do 1 year anniversary poems, but you got to be in the office for that. So you let me know a day when you're coming in the office, and I will have your 1 year anniversary poem ready for you. New folks, ask somebody. So I'm real excited about today because in my experience, one of two things happens after a day where it was kind of, Crystal Drake, by the way, first policy yesterday, give it up. Awesome. One of two things happens. Either it's a home run day where all of a sudden it's the exact opposite of, ooh, everything's just kind of working today. Or we get a little more tested. But it's nothing in the middle. It's not just going to be an average day today. It's going to be one or the other. It's going to be a test to say, are you listening to the stuff Andrew was talking about in the meeting? Are you the thing that he was pointing out the day before? Because you don't get the thing when you want it. You get the thing when you earn it. And it's why you hear it's always darkest before the dawn. Don't quit because it's the next step that breaks through. These cliches, these things, you can never lose unless you stop. And a lot of times that thing, that breakthrough is the next step. And it's right before you want to get, screw it. That's right there. Okay? So I'm eager today to see, what do we got? What's it going to be? Who wants to be great? What are we trying to do? And I think I know the answer. So that's all I'm going to say about that biz right now. I want to talk about another quick piece of biz. That's something that's kind of personal, but I need help with. And I just want to tell you about it so that you're aware, so that if anybody in here wants to participate and help me and actually Ashley out, it would be awesome. About 16 months ago, I came across, really, through my friendship with Ashley, just talking about stuff, the different meditations and stuff she's into, this INN, Institute for, I can never remember the acronym.
Institute for Integrative Nutrition.
Institute for Integrative is the word I always mess up. Integrative Nutrition. And it's an online school, basically, about health and nutrition. So when I heard about it, I said to myself, how many of those are there, right? So, but then I checked it out just to see what this guy who created it, because he was a teacher, kind of intrigued me, what he was all about. And man, it captured my imagination right off the bat. And it's an online course to learn about health and nutrition, but also to become a health coach down the line. And what's really fantastic right now is that, I'll give you guys a few key points that caught my attention. Maybe it will for you as well. To become a medical doctor, you don't have to take any courses on nutrition. And I was like, what the shit? How's that possible? Well, I dug a little deeper, and medical doctors are trained to treat a thing that's already happened, not to prevent the thing from happening, right? I said, oh, okay, well, that makes a little more sense. And then I thought, nutrition, well, I know what nutrition is. It's eat better food, man. I'm trying to eat better food. I'm trying to exercise more. Jeez. All right, enough already with the Whole Foods and the Sprouts. It's expensive. I'm trying. But then I saw this thing. He talked about primary food. And primary food has almost nothing to do with what we eat or drink. And I said, wait a minute now, that's interesting to me. What is it all about? And the primary food in this course is, and I'll show it to you guys, but it's joy, spirituality, creativity, finances, career, education, health, physical activity, home cooking, home environment, relationships, and social life. And I said, that's the primary nutrition in this nutrition course? Because I was thinking food, water, supplements, but this is the primary deal? started buzzing. Stuff started kind of clicking a little bit for me. Then I saw the secondary food as the things we actually put in our body. Then I heard him make his pitch about the course being that unless one has a grasp on their primary food, the secondary food doesn't really matter. Because unless we have balance in these areas, the stuff we put, it doesn't flow. It doesn't become a way of life. One doesn't become a healthier thing. They just become somebody who's trying to just take care of one little slice. And you could eat as much broccoli and kale as you want. If you are mentally telling yourself you're a piece of shit every day, it's not going to help you. You're not going to get there, right? So I was super intrigued by that. I listened a little bit more, and the concept of bio-individuality came up. And that is that some people's food is another person's poison. And that every single person is different. There is no one diet. There is no one way. But in order to find out what your own bio-individuality is, one needs to address the circle of life on the primary food, so that we can come up with the things that you decide are of concern or that want to be addressed, and then retroactively figure out what may support you food-wise through that. And it just captured my imagination. So I signed up for the thing, and Ashley and I actually signed up at the same time about 6 weeks ago. And every module I go through, there's another epiphany. You guys would be amazed. It's like this guy who started this thing stole our process. There's a whole friggin' module. They're actually called modules too, on like rapport building and active listening. Because the client, the person, is the one who needs to heal themselves. The health coach side doesn't do anything except listen and point. And listen and put. And I'm like, oh my. And they say trust the process. It just captured my imagination. So I want to give you guys that little brief why we're doing that and what it is to say this piece. Much like any other school, there are requirements involved for us to move through. And some of those are doing health histories. We have to get good at doing health histories for folks so that we can become better versions of ourselves within the program to help them. Because there's an aspect in this course as you move through where one graduates and becomes a health coach. Something that Ashley is very intuitive with this stuff. She's lived the life of it a lot longer than I have. I'm in here hoping that I can be a health coach at some point, but I'm trying to be a health coach for myself right now and learn. She's going to have her own practice and be very successful at it because it's what she does every day anyway. But that being said, there are certain requirements we still have to cross off. Like when I was getting my education degree, I had to do a practicum, even though I didn't plan on teaching third grade. I had to go there for 3 months every day and do the thing and put in the hours. Whatever the requirements are. And it's a similar thing with this. So I figure that there are companies right now, most of them on the West Coast that are very forward thinking, that pay people, health coaches, not doctors, but health coaches, a lot of money to be on the payroll to offer these services to their employees because they know healthier, better versions of the employees are going to have better output. Also helps them with insurance because you're doing things to increase the. And they pay them a lot of money. Doctors who are forward thinking are starting to understand, oh crap, I'm not a health, and they're putting health coaches on their payroll. It's interesting stuff. I figure that since we have to practice anyway, we're going to send you guys out email invitations, just like we're supposed to in the class. And the email will be very self-explanatory. Would you like to participate in a health interview? What's the first one called? The introduction interview? The consultation, big words, not my forte. And yes or no, I'd appreciate some of you did, even if you're not really participating, you're just kind of helping us go through the motion. Yeah, I'll do it, man. And then there's a form we send out that tells us a little bit about yourself. And then one of the days before or after work, 15, 20-minute health consultation. You do just with Ashley, just with me, you do with both of us. But we got to do 6 of them before we can kind of move on. And I figured this would be a great way to practice. You guys help me with so many things every day, getting better. And I believe that there's a lot of value to be added to your mindset in general. So it's not just about, hey, could you help me and Ashley out? That'd be cool. I think that there's a lot A lot of primary food that we don't understand is a big part of our overall health. It made a lot of sense to me, made me look at a lot of things and say, oh. And guess what that is? Guess what that O is? It's awareness. We talk about awareness all the time. Because once you're aware, then you can become aware of how you think about the thing. And it just starts the ball rolling. It starts the ball rolling. So even if you just respond to the email and fill out the pre-consultation interview paper, that would be helpful to us. You do the interview, great. There's a secondary interview piece that we have to do as well. If you want to do that one, great. It's free. And worst case scenario, you help Ashley and I out. Best case scenario, maybe you learn something about you. Does it make sense? Do you feel like I'm no? Oh, do you feel like I'm pandering, like I'm using my time that I have in front of you guys I'm totally pandering right now? Believe it or not, doing this for you. So be on the lookout for an email from Ashley or I that has something to do with health, interview, consultation, hello, and respond if you want to. And if you don't, you're fucking fired, so it's cool. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to curse.
Yeah, you did.
Ashley? I mean, I understand that I'm obnoxious and I kind of dominate the conversation, but anything that I didn't add or messed up?
Everything's confidential and it works best if you want to. And if you don't want to, you will not get fired.
How do you know?
It's
Okay.
just a neat way to take a look at yourself, and surprisingly enough, when you start doing things like that, you say it all the time, but everything gets found out. How does something like this affect sales? I don't know, let's find out.
It obviously does. If they're hiring people to be on the payroll, that'd be a cool gig, right? Ooh, that could be your eventual deals, is to be, I'm not the brightest. I'm
You're
like
going
in the
too
moment.
far, stop.
Now, wait a minute though. If we are successful enough at this, then everybody in 20 years will qualify for level premiums.
Look at that.
We're adding value. Questions, concerns about any of the things that we talked about? New folks. Keep going. Get through it. Mess up. Screw up. Do the wrong thing. Do the right thing. Go through it. It's how you apply all the knowledge. It's how you learn. It's how it all starts to make sense. Use the Slack. Use the Kenny Rios and Nelson and Angela and Ansel and Mike and Ashley and Mo. Leave Jason alone. Jason, I love you, but no, I'm just kidding. Jason's spinning plates, man. And the most important part of this meeting is to understand that greatness is claustrophobic. So if you have greatness in your heart, let it out, man. Let's go. Let's dominate this day.
Good morning, Brian and Miss Madison.
Nelson, you're my favorite. Don't tell Kenny. Nelson, you got your phone, brother. That's a sign from the universe saying, put that shit away today.
All right.
Ansel Simmons. Okay.
Whew. Miss Madison, I will message you. I will message you in a few.
I don't know what that is.
Noon is a type of program